your horror movie podcast.
Welcome back, Hack Stab Slash. I'm Hacky. This guy over here is Stabby. That guy down there is
just Justin. Let's go.
And we're entering Shark Week. In case you did not know, our first pick is going to be Deep Blue Sea. And all I got to say, dude, is how does the fat kid who doesn't like being outside and hates the heat, how do I have a better tan than the dude who lives down south and the guy who adventures outside 24/7?
I just gotta say, it's farmer's tan awareness. All right.
Yeah, you are quite right. Quite right. Quite.
You are right. Well, he is ripe. He is ripe for a white boy.
Dude, I haven't had my shirt on outside for 2 days. Like, there's no way you should have a better tan than me. I played basketball at the skate park today with no shirt on. I played volleyball for like 3 hours with no shirt on.
I think he's calling you out. I think he's calling you out.
Tan. Like, I don't know. Like,
all right, I gotta wear these more.
Is it my lighting?
But dude, look at my arms, dude.
Look at Pinhead.
Look at my fucking arms, dude.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
He looks like he just walked through a volcano.
He did, honestly.
Insane.
Just ashy as hell.
Oh shit! I forgot. I already forgot we're recording. We should probably
wait. Oh, yeah,
let's go.
What's
all
up,
right.
guys?
So Deep Blue Sea. Have either one of you seen this iconic, fucking legendary shark movie before?
Are you serious? You asking me that, dude? I watched this in theaters in 1999.
What about you, Justin?
Justin,
this is a first, right? This is a first.
Dude, so all I knew was that LL Cool J was in it, and he was in a hallway walking with water. I think I remember seeing that from the trailer. That's all I knew.
I mean, he wasn't walking.
How did you
water.
not see at least his music video?
I have now, but I did not before.
Deepest, bluest, my head is like a shark's fin.
So good, love it.
Let's go. All right, so Waterboy, what was your expectation rating going into this?
Honestly, the iconic shark movie. I'm a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. What about you, Justin? What were you expecting with shark horror going into this?
I was expecting this movie to be really, really stupid. Once again, I don't know why. I thought this was like a dumb shark. For some weird reason, I have not watched much shark movie. Like,
joke's on you. They're actually incredibly smart sharks. Right? So
like,
fuck you.
Dude, aquatic horror, I've seen the piranhas, I've
bro.
seen all the anacondas, pythons, alligator movies. For whatever reason, besides Jaws, I've seen like Jaws and obviously Sharknado, the two classics. But besides that, this is all new to me. So, yeah.
Well, my rewatch going into this, because I literally have not seen this movie in probably 10 years. I gave it a 5.6. I was going to stay middle of the road to see how it held up, but I was a little bit above mid, because I do thoroughly enjoy this, and this is probably the only shark movie in my memory bank that I do like as a horror shark movie.
It's a good one.
Dude, I didn't even know Samuel L. Jackson and Thomas Jane's in it.
What we're going to do is we're not going to argue. We're going to band together. We're going to come up with a plan. I really wanted to know what his plan was. Maybe we'll get there at some point.
Well, I mean, I don't think we ended up, partial plan.
You know what? Let's dive into this. Let's go.
All right. Since Waterboy is now with us and he's picked the right movie and taken the correct notes this time, why don't you lead us off, man? Take us to Aquatica.
All right. So we're going to start off in the middle of the ocean with some carefree couples on a sailboat where they randomly feel something, and then boom, a fucking shark breaks through the bottom of the boat, pissed off from not being invited to the love boat, of course. Right before the shark gets to one of the couples, the Punisher himself, Carter, comes to the rescue, shooting a spear into the shark and wrangling it like a cowboy. And I do got to say, how the fuck did he find them in the middle of the fucking ocean? But
Tracker.
All right. Yeah, that's true. All right. I'm retarded. Transition over to Dr. Susan McAllister explaining what's going on at the Oceanic Lab Aquatica to Samuel L. motherfucking Jackson, Russell Franklin. On the compound, we see Carter swimming casually with the shark he just recently wrangled up, and then ninja moves to ride it and proceeds to pull out a license plate.
Dude, he straddles that fucking shark like it's a horse.
He does. It's crazy.
That was ridiculous.
And he pulls out a license plate because nobody wants a pissed off shark with a toothache. Janice showing Russell the main sharks, which are a lot bigger. We get word of a storm that's coming their way, foreshadowing some shit's about to get real. We then meet Tom with Carter.
You forgot the introduction for LL Cool J.
That's true. Yeah.
when he bumps into Samuel L.
Preacher.
Jackson, preacher, and he goes, "Yo," he's like, "You that brother that survived that avalanche that killed some of those people, right?" And he's like, "Yep." And he's like, "Why don't you leave that to the white people?"
Yep.
That-
We got enough.
Loved it.
Oh my God. We meet Tom with Carter asking about how the shark got out, and it's taken 2 harpoons to take that shark down. We start heading down into Aquatica now, continuing the tour with Russell, and switch over to Dr. McAllister reading over some notes and practice with the trial that's going to be taking place the following day in withdrawing the protein from the shark's brain that could have the potential to cure Alzheimer's. So that I can remember what.
Right there,
shark
you should have
was.
known this was all going to go bad because Big Pharma will never let us have a full cure for anything that is profitable.
Never. Cancer?
Just
They know how to
saying,
cure it.
Justin, unfortunately, we all know that there is a cure for Lyme disease, but Big Pharma
gotta
finds a
be.
way to profit off that shit.
Seriously, help me out, guys. Help,
Help Justin, please.
please.
You know, he's got to deal with Waterboy shit every day. Well, not every day, but once a week now.
If you cure Alzheimer's, I will be able to remember what movie we're doing.
He'd still fuck it up.
Carter and Russell having a wholesome conversation about Carter doing wreck diving as he was previously a convict. But now it's feeding time with the sharks approaching and with Carter. And then the 2 adults start ripping into one of the other sharks, tearing it to pieces. What the fuck?
This
Insane.
scene looked like something out of like Jurassic Park when they like just rip apart another dinosaur fighting over food.
It was
Yep.
crazy. Dr. McAllister called up to the top deck for a problem. Just kidding. It's a surprise birthday party. Carter starts questioning Dr. McAllister, talking about that they're, messing with God pretty much and with the genes of the sharks, making them smarter at the same time enlarging their brain so that they could have better success chance with the trials. Hurricane is now moving in over Aquatica as Carter readies to wrangle up the Gen 2 shark for the trial. These damn sharks rush the cage from both sides, and they even start to swim backwards, which shouldn't be done.
No.
And they even recognize the gun. So something's fucked up.
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson calls that out like right after. He's like,
Right
please
away.
tell me I'm not the only one who saw that. He's
Yeah,
like,
he's
you guys
freaked
saw
out.
that. They recognized the gun and they swam backwards. Sharks cannot swim backwards. He's like, and how
Yes.
do they recognize it? Like, what is going on?
I'm tired of these
He's
damn
fucking
sharks and this damn.
Damn ocean.
Now the sharks are even taking out the fucking cameras, dude. They're even smart enough to take out the cameras. But not smart enough for Carter as he tricks them with scuba gear and shoots them and wrangles them up to the water on the platform. Testing time, inserting the needle and extracting the protein from the brain and then dripping it onto brain tissue to see if we can get some neurons firing. It's a success.
Fireworks.
Fireworks. It's firing. Time to celebrate with Jim smoking a cig, kneeling down to let the shark know they did it. And the shark's like, nah, man, I did, and bites off his arm.
Hey, let me
Blood.
give you a hand real quick, Jim.
Yeah.
Oh.
Blood everywhere and slow-mo activated with Carter trying to shoot the shark and Dr. McAllister's realizing it. She releases the shark back into the water.
Hits the release button.
Like, what the fuck? And Medvac's called along with Justin to take over.
Not for nothing, I'm okay with her hitting the emergency evac switch because the amount of money they did put into those sharks, you can't just kill it like that. Granted, it took
Right.
this dude's arm off, but it was already twitchy when you brought it in, so you should have been prepared for this stuff. And it's that doctor's negligence for getting that close. Granted, that shark should have been out cold, but still, dude, why get careless?
Mm.
You
So
blame
careless.
so many different
friggin'
things.
careless.
But
So ridiculous. Oh,
Plot
all
armor.
right. So
Jesus.
poor friggin' Jim, man. This dude's lost his arm, and they bring him to the surface, and we see the medic chopper. And holy crap, that storm they talked about earlier, it is hidden. I don't know about you guys, but the ocean freaks me out.
Huge.
And seeing the storm,
yeah, seeing shit like that is why I do not go on cruise ships.
Dude,
Yeah,
I hated
dude.
watching The Perfect Storm. If you guys have seen that movie,
Yes.
like
Yep.
I don't even want to. But yeah, so the storm is going crazy and everything. So they hook up his stretcher to the chopper, and this thing starts flying.
get to the chopper.
Yeah, get to the chopper. This thing is flying with him being hung down on the friggin' stretcher, still attached, Of course, shit goes wrong. It falls into the friggin' ocean. A shark gets him. And we see the shark pulling him, which is still attached to the chopper.
Fucking hell, yeah.
The friggin' chopper goes into the structure. Holy explosion right into the radio tower where I believe her name was Brenda. Poor Brenda. I mean, you see a look from her eyes real fast. She gets absolutely blown up.
At least she died quicker in that than she did in The Sopranos.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Don't understand what happened there, but yeah, crazy. Like, thank God, like, she's dead. And everyone runs back underwater. And now you see they're all underwater and there's like a giant like glass so they can see into the ocean. You see the shark like swimming towards them, and they have Jim still.
What is that? Somebody tell me what that is.
Could you imagine what was going through Jim's mind? Like
he's Jim's still alive because he's got
he can't even spit it out because it's attached to his face.
It's attached to his mouth, so the guy's alive.
He's about to live through this ordeal.
And the shark throws him through the fucking window, the glass window, and he hits it.
Somebody help me here!
All the glass starts breaking. This thing. It explodes open. This place is absolutely flooding. They narrowly escape. They end up shutting the door. So now there's 5 of them. They're in the hallway. And Carter starts coming up with a plan for escape. Meanwhile, we flash over to Preacher, and he's drinking wine, hanging out with his parrot. We see his parrot fly away. And that starts to flood. And we see LL wash away down some staircase. And once again, the group narrowly escapes another hallway flood. And Russell now, which is Samuel L. Jackson, this dude is pissed. I believe Waterboy was talking about earlier how like he called up some bullshit right away. He's like, they hear something smashing on the door. He's like, "Excuse me, is that a shark? Like going through the door? Like, are these things hunting us?"
Say shut one more fucking time.
Yeah, like this dude is pissed. So eventually, like the doctor at this point kind of comes clean and elaborates on some of the stuff they were saying earlier, how it's gene therapy. And how they genetically mutated it for bigger brains for the sharks. Unfortunately, one of the side effects is they got extremely smarter. And like they said, she talked about how it could save people from brain disease. So I guess the thought for doing the right thing is there. But these sharks got extremely smart. So we cut back to LL. We'll just call him LL Cool J. And it is flooded. He's armed with a frying pan at the moment. Why there's a shark after him. He eventually upgrades to an axe. He grabs an axe. What do you got? You saying something?
Dude, the way he talks to the entire Aquatica as it's like one structure, when he picks up that bottle of cooking wine and he's like, "I'm gonna take this as a sign," and he starts pounding it and he's walking down the hall and the whole building shakes and he's like, "All right, I get it," and he throws the bottle down.
Yeah, his commentary. His commentary throughout the whole movie was really awesome. Really love that character. And he finds his bird. Unfortunately, real fast, the shark eats the bird. LL is panicking and he hides in a oven. And we have a quick cutscene to the group now, and we see them that they're trying to get down to find the submarine. Well, they found the submarine, and that thing is fucking trashed. They are completely perplexed how that thing could be trashed, like completely wrecked. Well, there goes that plan. And flashing back right to LL now, the shark. Did you guys see the shark turned on the oven?
Like, yeah, he turned on the gas. Yeah,
it turns on the gas. Like, luckily, LL, he digs through the top, he smashes through the top of it, dives over the shark, turns around and all badass. Lily's like, "You ate my bird." Gets a lighter, throws the lighter, blows up the shark. He jumps through the door. He swims away.
Did you hear the shit talking he did to that bird trying to get him away from the shark?
Oh, yeah.
He was like, "Bird, if you don't get over here right now," he's like, "there's going to be little chicken wings on the menu tomorrow."
Oh, yeah. Just, dude, everything. I loved every single thing he said throughout this movie. And meanwhile, we flash to the group now, and there's like a pool entrance where like the sub was, and they're all suiting up. They got some water suits now, so they're putting the suits on. They are coming up with another plan, and they're realizing it's 230 feet to the surface. And at this point, I'm getting amped because Russell, who is Samuel L. Jackson, starts giving an incredible motivational speech. He's talking about his experience, so all the stuff he's gone through and in the mountains and stuff before. I am amped up for this speech. Dude, out of nowhere, a shark jumped out of the friggin' pool and ate him.
Mid-speech.
I didn't know that was coming.
Mid-speech,
remember, this is the first time watching me. Obviously, if Samuel L. Jackson's in the movie, I'm thinking he's making it to the end or something. Did not expect that because, like I said, he was in the middle of a motivational speech. That blew me away.
And then you see him ripping him apart underwater.
Yeah, it's just absolutely ripped apart.
My first watch on this movie, it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, that was
That jump scare was perfectly placed.
That jump scare, because in the middle of a motivational speech by L. Samuel
you
Jackson,
like hyper focus on him.
Dude, I was so focused in, that actually scared the shit out of me. And at this point now, we see like Thomas panicking. We kind of reminds him, like, look, we got to keep moving. Like, he's talking about how much pressure is. Like, this place is going to implode. Like, we have to keep going. Now they're down to 4 of them in the group. So they go
ding,
through.
Ding, 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 ding.
They go through the door under pressure. All right, anyway, they go through the door. They go through the elevator shaft. They shut the door so the place stops flooding. They start climbing like a ladder. As they're climbing this ladder, we got chunks of stuff on fire falling from the top, dodging. The sharks burst through the door. So now all of a sudden the water level is rising in this place. Carter narrowly gets opens a level 2 door, so some of the water go in there. But unfortunately, as this happens, the ladder falls. A ladder falls straight across, so they are across it. Janice, one of the women that is still with them, she falls in. Shark freaking jumps up, devours her, and then now we got 3 of them all stuck on the ladder. As we kick it off to Sean to finish up.
Dude, take the ladder on that one.
Incredibly smart is Skoggs in this movie. When someone's like, can't we just swim to the surface? And he's like, well, it's 400 plus feet to the surface from here. And he's like, the average human can swim 2 feet per second. These sharks can swim over 45 feet per second. Well, like per minute or whatever. Yeah, and whatever. He's like, mathematically, he's like, that shit ain't happening. You can't hold your breath, even if you're the most experienced person in the world. He's like, y'all not making it. He's like, your lungs,
no,
they'll explode. Mm-hmm. Like you can't do that. But bye, Janice. That fish had a mouthful of fish. If you catch my drift, some serious undertow with that one. This scene gave me like Scream 6 vibes of the group trying to cross the ladder from apartment to apartment. I don't know if you guys felt that same way in that exact moment. But the water's continuing to rise, and the sharks are waiting for dinner. But Chef LL Cool J has other plans for things on the menu, and he opens up the door and tosses down some sheets, prison style, and gets the group up to the next level. Yeah. Carter and company try to come up with a new game plan, and guess what? Tom's the man, because who are you going to trust? Who are you going to trust? Justin, who are you going to trust? You going to trust me? You going to trust me?
Come on, MySpace, Tom.
I'll trust you, Tom.
So Tom tells them, he's like, guys, I need the batteries. He's like, Janice was a fun girl. He's like, where do you keep that? Where'd you keep that? That's got batteries in it. Justin, did you get that, Justin?
I understand what's happening there. Yes, thank you.
All right, so they get the batteries.
It's a vibrator. I get it.
All right. I get it. All right, so they get the batteries now and they put them in the flashlights. Relax, Water.
Oh my! What are you doing this episode? You've already been.
Do you mind explaining what that is for Justin? I don't think.
How did you take notes?
Just like that. That was verbatim.
I'm just curious, Justin. Do you know what that is? Because Sean, could you explain what?
I'd like to just keep going with the podcast. Talk about sharks.
Preach zips up Tom, and him and Carter make a run to the wet lab. I love the way Preach zips up Tom, because Tom just turns around. He's like, Preach,
zip me
up. Justin, if we're ever stuck in a subaquatic fucking place, I'll zip you up if you ask me nicely.
That's so sweet.
Thank you.
That's the nicest thing anyway. Yeah.
All right, so they head down to the wet lab right now, and they're going to try and reroute the generator so they can drain stairwell number 1, I think is how you would say it. Yeah. And oh no, they're going to drain one stairwell at a time. So Skoggs and Carter make their way to the wet lab, but not before we see a shark fin in the distance, and a wonderful jump scare that makes the boys scream bloody murder when Jim's dead body pops up. How long do you guys think they left him alive? Do you think he drowned to death?
I think he ended up running out of oxygen and then dying.
That has to be the most gruesome death.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah, you do not want to go out that way. Like, I'd say you think he bled out first, or you think it's just painful to think about. Preach pulls out a camera and records his last thoughts in case he doesn't make it out. It says, this is his legacy. I have loved the pulpit. I have loved the bottle. I did my best to be a good husband and a father. And then as he's pondering on what kind of mark he wants to leave on this world, he thinks long and hard, and he goes, time to make the perfect omelet. It's made with 2 eggs, not 3, Amateurs often add milk for density, but this is a mistake.
This is a mistake.
Yeah. And I really wish, like, Justin's losing his mind.
I'm so sorry. Oh my God, sorry. I'm so sorry.
Go take a piece.
Justin, you were literally covering your eyes,
bro. I don't even know
with the pin. You got lost and staring at yourself.
But LL Cool J giving this recipe for the omelet, you can tell this man's heart is fully in the kitchen. And I love the shift in his acting. He goes from serious, dreadful to like uplifting and wanting to share something that he loves. I thought that was very good and very well done. Carter and Tom now successfully reroute the power, and just before they can celebrate, Tom gets torn to shreds, and the shark uses the switchboard as like his human cheese grater. So this plan is now null and void. So you can throw that right out the window. Susan goes back to her room now to retrieve data. She gets a jump scare by the test dummy shark that we seen from earlier, followed up almost immediately with a real tango with a real shark. Thinking quick on her feet and in her undies, she rips down some electrical cords and deep fries that shark extra crispy, losing her data in the process, unfortunately. So this, again, was all for nothing. Every plan these guys have come up with, or everything they have tried to do, has been rock solid, and then when it's come down to execution, it has just blown up in their face due to these sharks.
Literally.
These sharks have spoiled everything. Susan, Preach, and Carter are all back together, and they make their way towards the airlock. Carter has a plan to distract the sharks with life jackets and fire extinguishers. And he tells them, remember to exhale on your way up so your lungs don't explode. Otherwise, you're dead. They flood the chamber as Preach is saying a prayer involving a big stick and him being the meanest motherfucker in the valley. 2 sharks down and 1 demon fish left to go. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
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 Let's go. The plan works out as they go topside. But before they can get out of the water, the shack. They might as well be. They're big enough.
Hey, I just want to let you guys know that you're doing a great.
Yeah. I just want to let you know, Preach, that I'm about to take a bite out of that ass. So the shark grabs onto Preach. But Preach ain't no punk bitch, motherfucker. I'm from the hood. And he grabs his cross and he starts stabbing the shit out of this shark. And eventually he gets him right into the eye. And the shark lets go. Carter gets Preach out of the water now, and it's back to the drawing board for a new plan. Carter realizes the sharks have been using them the entire time and herding them like a flock of sheep. They've been herding them through this facility, flooding it floor by floor, so it'll sink, so they can break out, because the underneath gates, they're titanium, but up top, they're regular steel, and these sharks can break right through it. And he goes, they've been hurting us because they want to break free and they want to go hunt in the deep blue sea. Movie reference, let's go. Carter and Susan then rig up the spear gun with the leftover flare, and they create like an explosive. He wants to shoot the shark and hook it up and blow this thing to fucking smithereens. They're starting to panic because they're running out of time, and the shark's almost free now as it's trying to break through the gates. And Carter can't make the shot. He screams out to Susan that he can't pull the shot off. Susan then cuts her hand and jumps in as bait. It works, and now Susan's breakfast for this fucking beast. Carter doesn't take the shot though, and Susan dies all for nothing. Like this was a wasted effort.
The shark looked at her like,
yeah, like he turned around to take his time. He went over there and turned her into a quick Susan snack. And Carter, instead of seizing the moment, just fully fucks up, dives into the water to try and save her, and then realizes that when the shark's coming after him, dude, he can't get out because the stairs broke. So he's got no other option but to do his fucking Shark Tango Rango trick and fin ride this motherfucker.
Yep.
And as he's doing this, like, Preach comes to his senses. He hears all the shit going on. So he comes to the rescue again. Second time in this movie. He goes to take the shot. So he pulls the trigger, and it goes right through the shark's fin. And Carter's like...
Gets Carter.
Yep. Carter says, fuck it, take the shot. Preach is hesitant. He's like, nah. He's like, I ain't killing you in the process. The shark finally breaks through this fence. And in the process, we see it rip the spear right through Carter's leg. And as this shark is going out to sea, Preach says, fuck it. And he hooks up the cables, dude, and he blows this thing to fucking smithereens. He's sitting there and he's looking out into the ocean and he sees Carter come up to the surface and wave like he's good. And Preach just goes, yo, bring me some sushi.
Dude,
right.
That explosion was almost picture perfect of how it happened in Jaws.
Yes. There is a lot of nods in this movie.
Yes, I would say there's a ton of them.
Yeah, so Carter makes his way back to like the whatever's left of Aquatica, the dock for them to sit on. And he sits next to Preach and he goes, 45-foot shark, and you hit me. Preach says, hey, I could have just let it eat your ass. Let me ask you though, are you sure it was only 3 sharks? Carter goes, yeah. And he goes, you're sure? 3 sharks. And then Carter pulls his feet up out of the water and he goes, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Then we hear horns blaring in the distance as the next shift shows up. Carter goes, man, I quit this job. And Preach goes, I'm going back to the ghetto. And then we get end credits to Deepest Bluest by LL Cool J.
Let's go.
What'd you guys think of this movie? Who wants to kick us off with a rating?
Honestly, nostalgia's sake, especially me seeing this in theaters when it came out, I absolutely love this movie. It's the special effects for the sharks and how they did this movie. Of course, the cast was awesome. I mean, it holds up today, honestly. And I'm gonna give this a 7.6 out of 10 just for nostalgic sake and seeing it and the cast being freaking awesome. And it's awesome. That's awesome.
Justin, before you zone out again and you try to bounce a fucking pen on your nose, why don't you tell us what's up?
Oh God, how long did I do that? I don't even know.
You had like a good like paragraph and a half before I realized that you had a COVID test just in between your eyeballs.
Oh God, I'm
Justin,
so sorry.
It's already 8 o'clock, Justin. You've been doing this for 30 minutes.
Shit. All right. So this is my first time watching this movie, and it is now my favorite shark movie that I've ever seen. Like I said, I've not seen a ton. Like obviously, like first of all, I get like Jaws is a classic.
Jaws is legendary and iconic.
It's legendary. But honestly, I had more fun with this one. So this is my favorite shark movie now. It had some good suspense. Like it was fun as fuck. The cast was awesome. It's so much fun movie. And a jump scare got me. It actually was suspenseful. I actually am scared of the ocean. So I hate seeing stuff flooding like that. Terrifying. I give this a solid 7.6 out of 10. Yes, Waterboy. I don't know if that's ever happened. That's crazy.
Dude, we just become best friends.
Yeah. Do you want to go do karate in the garage?
You want to go wrangle up some sharks?
Hey, can we get 3 for 3? Let's see what Sean's got. Sean, what do you got?
All right, so we came pretty close. I'll just tell you that. I'm not a very big shark movie guy. This shit does really nothing for me. I certainly don't think it's an easy task to make a horror movie with sharks. Like Justin said, he's petrified of the water. I'm not scared of the ocean, but what I am petrified of is being in a room that's flooding with no way out. My biggest fear is one of my biggest fears is drowning, because if you're in a room and you got no way out, you have no control over that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of shark movies fall more into like the thriller category.
Same.
So, but the CGI sharks and the kills, I don't think hold up very well. I mean, when Tom dies, and he dies fast and it's brutal, do we see his foot like twitch, and it gives off a very fake feeling. It looks like something you could have bought at Spirit Halloween. Like it looked like so bad.
Yeah.
And then Carter, one of our main characters, never quite gets his sea legs, I guess, because every time there's any opportunity for this man to fall and make like an action slide in the water, he does that over and over again. It's like he's wearing ice skates for the first time and he's only got one speed, and that speed is just full go. This movie does start out fast and it gives off very little slowing down outside of some character building. The score goes along great, and it becomes its own character, giving you like very heart-pounding moments throughout this film. It's a very fun ride, and just like every fun ride, you can't wait to ride it again. And that being said, dude, I'm going to give it a 7.5, because any movie that comes with a kick-ass center screen solo speech from the legend Samuel L. Jackson, followed up with its own theme music by one of hip-hop's own, LL Cool J deserves to be watched at least once.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
7.5. I was 1.1 behind you guys.
So
Son of a
close.
bitch.
Son of a bitch.
Close.
Do you guys get any fun facts, or do you want me to dive into it? Because I have a fuck ton.
I've got
I feel like there was a lot, but I feel like a lot of them weren't super fun. I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, go ahead.
I've got two. So
Go ahead.
one was that this was Stephen King's first movie that he saw in theaters after his near fatal accident, and he watched it in a wheelchair. Like literally.
And he loved every minute of it.
Yeah. And my other one was the Gen 2 Mako described that was 45 feet long and 8,000 pounds. It would make it 3 times the length and 4 times heavier than the largest one ever recorded, along with twice the size of the largest great white that's ever been recorded.
Damn.
Which is crazy to think about.
Hell yeah.
Terrifying.
All right, Justin, what do you got for us?
Well, for the Halloween tie-in, I might as well just mention it. I didn't even have to do any
Layup.
research. So let's take the layup of LL Cool J being in Halloween H2O. And the only other ones I got was Thomas Jane. I thought that was kind of cool. One is actually terrified of sharks, all because of the movie Jaws. And the only other thing that I thought really was cool was, did you see who did the voice of the parrot? Frank Welker. Frank Welker, one of the most legendary voice actors in the history of the guy that did like a lot of the Scooby Doo stuff. The guy, he's been like a voice actor for like 60 years or whatever. Yeah, he did the voice of the parrot, which I thought was insane. And that's pretty much all I wrote. So yeah, that's what I got.
So when I was on IMDb and stuff, there's like 50,000 trivia facts that you could go through. So I decided to read them all because I had some time to kill. Like we had all said, LL Cool J smashes this out of the park. He actually won the Blockbuster Entertainment Award for Favorite Supporting Actor that year for this movie.
Yeah,
Deserved.
Like I said, the score and the music in this movie gets your heart racing every time there's a low point, and it's beautifully done. Trevor Rabin won the BMI Film Festival Music Award, and I'd say that's well earned. So those are the only 2 awards this movie got, was LL Cool J and the music, and those are hands down some of the best parts of this movie. For one scene only, Thomas Jane did have to swim alongside a real live shark. He was only allowed to shoot this once they had completed all of his other scenes, for fear of an attack. Did you guys notice that the license plate pulled from the shark's teeth is the same one found in Jaws 1975?
I read that.
Wow.
Yeah. The orange-colored mini submersible. Wow. The mini sub, the one that's destroyed, is the same sub seen in the end of the movie Sphere, starring Samuel L. Jackson. One of the major complaints people have was how the sharks managed to map Aquatica enough to know that they had to herd the humans around to get the fences lowered. The sharks have electroreception, and that's what they used to map the entire Aquatica, using the electrical impulses they could sense from the wiring in the walls. That's how fucking smart these sharks got. There's also a moment about 2/3 of the way into the film where the Gen 2 big girl shark attacks Carter as he tries to get the door open, but she swerves out of the way at the last moment. This initially seems like a case of plot armor, but after the reveal that she was trying to make him flood more parts of the facility, it's clear that the shark intentionally did that.
I was a little bit, I was questioning that because it could have totally got him right there, but it completely swerved away. Fucking, could you imagine if sharks were like this in real life?
Like completely smart. So these sharks have adapted and surpassed the average human IQ in this movie due to those hormone increases. And sharks, when they hunt using sense of blood. And one of the biggest gripes among audiences during the opening scenes, it's implied that the shark became more aggressive and attacking the boat with the teenagers because of the blood-like wine that spilled off the boat. But why would a shark mistake the smell of wine for blood? It's not until you realize that the shark, thanks to the enhanced brain cells, it's ignoring its basic instincts of smell, and it's relying on things like assumptions, just like us humans do. Instead of using its basic instincts, it's just going hard.
And it knows that something is there, so it wants...
Yep. Samuel L. Jackson does not use his trademark motherfucker at all in this film. Instead, he let LL Cool J use it when LL Cool J goes, baddest motherfucker in the valley.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
What else do we got? Oh, you got your hand up? What's up?
Yeah, I don't want to derail you, but I do have a question. There's 2 sequels to this movie. Have you guys seen Deep Blue 2 or Deep Blue
Nope,
Sea
don't
2
plan on
or
ever
3?
watching them. Nope.
I heard they're horrible.
Well, that's what I was about. I was just wondering. I was to say they got to be absolutely garbage, right?
Justin, go watch them for us. Take a hit.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to. I do not want to.
So I think I told you this fun fact, Justin. Originally, Saffron Burrows was to be the hero of the film, but director Renny Harlin said that an interview with test audiences hated that ending, which really surprised him. The test audience felt that she should die since everything was her fault. Like, just holding nothing back. Yep. So they made quick scene edits and they reshot some footage at the end to make her die. And because LL Cool J was a fan favorite, they made him the hero. And the audiences loved it, citing that, quote, he's a pretty cool guy.
Oh, I was so glad she died. How did you guys feel?
I felt bad because, like, I get it. She's a scientist. She's trying to do this shit, but I wanted her to die. There was one person in this entire movie that I was like, actually, there was 2. It was her and Janice. I was like, get them the fuck out of here.
She was a bitch. How she acted to Carter and stuff earlier and, like, kind of, like, threatening him out. Yeah, like, I was so glad she died. LL.
Like, when she threatens Carter's job, you could have done that completely differently. Like, she holds it against him, and he's like, you threatening me?
Yeah, that was bullshit.
And then she's got to clarify, like, I know I'm coming off as a bitch, but if this doesn't work out, we're all out of a job.
Yeah.
Like, you could have just said that.
Yeah.
Right.
You didn't have to feel like you were threatening him, which is fucking stupid. But halfway through the movie, Preacher starts to fear for his life, stating, brothers never make it out of situations like this. Not ever. Ironically, LL Cool J made 3 horror movies in that decade where he was one of the victims are picked off one by one. We get Halloween H2O, Deep Blue Sea, and a movie called Mindhunters, which if you guys haven't seen, I highly suggest you watch. But he survives all 3 movies.
Let's go.
And then for my last fun fact, the 3 sharks are killed in the same way and in order as the 3 sharks in Jaws, Jaws 2, and Jaws 3D, which are blown up, electrocuted, and incinerated.
Fuck.
Let's go.
Yeah,
let's go. All right. So that about wraps it up. If you guys got anything else you want to touch on?
No, I feel like we should just close off and tell them we're going to do Bait next week.
We're doing Bait next week. We're going to try and drop 3 movies during the Shark Week. We're going to release this one on Monday, Bait on Wednesday, and Waterboy's pick, Shallows, on Friday. And then we will resume, that's a mouthful, we'll resume our regular normal horror on Fridays.
Was it called Bait, or what? Was there a beginning part of that, or was it?
No, it's Bait or Bait 3D.
Okay, yeah, so it's not. So it's not Master, right?
No.
All right.
Fuck off. All right, we're out here. I'm wacky. That's wacky. This guy down here. Just Justin. I said it for him. Let's go.
Peace out. Let's go. Bye. Over.